We'll have a report from Tucson in just a moment. But first, I want to bring in former FBI special agents Jason Pack, Daniel Brunner, and Brianna Fox. Daniel, I'll begin with you here because a car being towed from the neighborhood, unclear which home it's coming from. But can you glean any information from that towing?
Just off the bat, just off the videos there, I think it's a little, to get ahead of ourselves to speculate, whose vehicle, what vehicle. But just running off of this information that I just learned within the last few minutes, you could speculate lots of different possibilities. Maybe this was, the subject or the individuals who conducted the kidnapping were in this vehicle. So there could be physical evidence, there could be fibers, there could be threads that this vehicle may have been in the garage of, Ms. Guthrie right there. And may have been a passenger with Ms. Guthrie while she was driving, or if they were a passenger. There's lots of different possibilities. And the fact of the matter is that the FBI is going through every single piece of evidence, every single clue to ensure that they have every physical evidence collected, because they don't want to have anything left behind. So everything is being meticulously collected by the evidence response team, the ERT, right there in the Arizona. So they're getting everything that'll complete the package to build a profile and hopefully find Ms. Guthrie soon.
I mean, Brianna, we're on night six of this search. What developments could have happened in all these days that would lead to a car being towed? I know we don't want to speculate, but it is very curious to think about all this happening now after we've seen the ransom notes that they were trying to legitimize, the videos from the family, and now this.
Right. Well, there's a few different possibilities. One is what the special agent in charge said yesterday at the press conference, that they were not at the initial search that happened on day one, or, the morning that she was reported missing. So they're sort of going back over the crime scene and trying to reanalyze it, searching everything and searching more than they had originally searched, thinking maybe now there's clues left behind. A second thing is there could have been something new in the newest ransom note that could have suggested, oh, wow, this car is involved. Other ransom notes that may or may not be valid, they have referenced things like the crime scene, clothes that Nancy was wearing. Maybe there was a reference to the vehicle, and now all of a sudden that's important.
I want to stay for a second with you, Jason, because I want to talk about the second note. It includes some sensitive information, we're told, but no deadlines, no ransom demands as well. No way, again, to communicate with the family. And you've got no proof of life, but you've got this car being towed. What are you seeing?
Well, on the ransom note, it's encouraging that at least they're reaching back out if, in fact, it is the same person. So there's at least a response to something. As far as the car goes, a lot of people don't realize it, and I'll approach this from more of a digital evidence perspective. But these cars, particularly if that's a Subaru, have things like Starlink in them. They have their GPS. So there's some data points in there that the agents and investigators would like to recover to see, maybe not even during, maybe weeks before, where she's gone and just leading up to the entire event. So they'll go back and pull those through special tools that they have and try to just get those data points into evidence to see if they match anywhere on the timeline or they provide any sort of additional intelligence.
I want you all to stand by for a moment. I want to bring in Brianna Whitney, who is in Tucson tonight at the Pima County Sheriff's Office. She's a reporter with Arizona's 3 TV and CBS 5, and also host of True Crime Arizona Live. Brianna, do you have information about whose car was towed tonight and why?
We don't have confirmation tonight. We just have that concrete video showing it being taken from the crime scene tonight, that dark blue-gray SUV. You have to assume, though, that there was something that made them tow that away so many days later. Remember, they had processed that crime scene, and they were done by Tuesday, Wednesday, and then all of a sudden they're back out there. And so clearly something has led them to that. We don't know if the catalyst for that was receiving that new note today, or if there was something else they found in the investigation and felt that that required further testing. But clearly, there's something there.
Tell me about this new note, this message that was received by KOLD. What else do you know?
Yeah, so this is our sister station, so we are very up to date with the ransom note, and there's only so many things that we're reporting just due to the respect of the family. But the three main takeaways from this: there is no proof of life in this new note, there is no additional ransom demand, and there is no way for the Guthrie family to communicate back to the sender. So those are three really important aspects that we've learned in this. But there are a couple other aspects of this as well. They received it this morning, the station did. They sent it immediately to the sheriff's department to review. Now, in terms of the IP addresses, doesn't appear to be the same IP address as that first ransom note that went out, but it's the same kind of server that protects you from seeing the IP address. So that's important as well. You can also tell in this new note that the person who wrote it thinks that they are giving information to investigators that makes them believe they are the person who sent that original ransom note. Of course, all of that we don't know. We don't know. And that's the thing. We didn't even know yet if the first ransom note was legitimate. And what makes this whole situation even more bizarre now is you had that 5 p.m. deadline yesterday and that second deadline that was supposed to come on Monday. And now, right in the middle of this, we have this brand new note on Friday. We don't know what that exactly means for the investigation moving forward.
It means torture for this family who desperately want to get their mother back. Brianna, thank you. I want to get back to my investigators and their expertise here. Jason, that first letter, to Brianna's point, it did include a ransom demand. There were deadlines for the family to meet. But yet the second idea of a second deadline as well coming this Monday. But why do you think this ransom was not reiterated today?
Well, I think that they've known that they made their initial demands, and so they want to just make sure that to tell them that, hey, we're listening. So this second note says, hey, we've heard your messages. Hopefully that's what it says, and that there is this deadline on Monday. So one of the things about it, Laura, though, I don't know if you've ever tried to even get the cryptocurrency. It seems like it's a generational issue with younger people. Maybe they're demanding this crypto for an older generation. Like, how do you even go about doing that? So it's going to take a lot of time, even if they do agree and come to terms, hopefully, which they will. But you're going to have to it may have to even take longer than the Monday deadline to do it.
I mean, Brianna, they want proof of life. We've heard this multiple times from the initial Guthrie siblings message to the most recent one from Cameron, Nancy Guthrie's son. You just heard Brianna say, and KOLD says the message was sent from a different, it looks like maybe IP address, but the sender appeared to use the same secure server from the first note to try to hide the IP address. Describe what that might tell us about the level of sophistication of the sender.
Right. Well, it would seem that the person who was sending either text messages or emails to the Guthrie family was not using this, right? And they were immediately caught. And so that's what this person or group of people that were sending these other ransom notes were trying to avoid. That is a lot of sophistication. Most people I talk to have no idea that you can trace the source of an email from the email header. And by using that basically digital data, you can trace it back to the exact location that an email was sent from. Whoever sent this message was aware of that. So they're taking steps to mask their location, which is certainly sophisticated. That doesn't necessarily mean it's real, but it means they are very sophisticated.
Does it, just to follow up on that, is it truly untraceable if you use this masking ability to hide the nature of your server? Can the FBI track down the secure server?
It certainly depends on that server, and it does take a lot more time. So now we're, instead of being able to just look at the IP address where that email was sent, now we're going to that server, now maybe having to send subpoenas out, waiting for the returns, right? This becomes a much longer process, and you're hoping it's not international, which many are, and then cooperation could be difficult.
Daniel, yet again, they're using whoever this person is, or people we don't know, they're using the media as the vehicle to communicate. Why do you think that is? Surely they have put out messages they want to hear from them. I have not heard in those public messages from the Guthries a method that they could be communicated with or reached. But why is the media being the vehicle?
I think that all of us are speaking about these different ways: the cryptocurrency, masking the IP, using the VPNs, and now using the media. This is a different type of kidnapper. These are different type of criminals. This is not your Sinatra, your different kidnappings. This is a different type of kidnapping. These individuals who are sending these messages are trained in this current generation, that have been coming in here, then growing up now in this world. And they're using the media, I believe, to get more attention to themselves. Because if you truly wanted about money, you would be sending directly to the family. You'd be sending, this is not your traditional kidnapping. This is a different type of kidnapping now. And they're using the media, and it's getting more and more attention to the situation. And previously I've said here on different shows is that concerns me, that if this more and more attention is brought to this, that the kidnappers may feel that the circle is closing in and they may do something drastic. But I think they want this attention. I think they want it brought upon themselves. I think they want everyone in the world looking at them, and that's why. But it's curious that they sent it to a local TV station in Arizona. That to me really shows something, that I think that they may be there in Arizona.
Jason, why do you think there is not a way to communicate directly with them in these letters? It appears to me that they intend this to be purely transactional. One would imagine the more interaction you would have with whoever this potential abductor would be, the more likelihood that you could be traced or that you could possibly be persuaded. Are you creating in your mind a criminal profile of the type of person that would want simply that Bitcoin account number visible, and that's it?
Yeah, I think with each message that comes out, clearly we are not privy to every word in there, but I know that the FBI's behavioral analysis unit, the profilers, are taking a look at that along with the team. They're on the ground in Tucson. So every message, every word is carefully looked at, and they're creating a profile. But it seems to skew a little younger. I don't know if they're doing that on purpose, but crypto, Bitcoin, the wallets, all these things are terms that maybe are not familiar to people my age or a little older. So it makes it a very complex investigation. And I'll tell you this, as a negotiator myself, I've been able to learn under some of the most legendary FBI profilers and FBI negotiators at Quantico. This one ain't in the playbook. Like this one, there's no scenario at the crisis negotiation unit where we train our negotiators that this is that falls under this. There's several things that are happening, and statistically speaking, the types of calls will go out. This one seems a little different, and they can tweak and they can adjust, but this one is a little different. So I know that behind the scenes, we're talking about this ransom and these letters all the time, but just know there's also pretty much 3 sets of investigative pipelines of information to come. There's people working on this part of it, but there are also people working on the more sure bets of the families, the people close to it, the workers in there. So they're alibying all those people. The people working the kidnapping are working that angle. They're pushing toward the middle. And then you see these neighborhood canvases bring back this information to the timeline, and then you'll see them go back to the house because they have more information, or they'll tow a car, or I think they may have found some video at a local gas station of a car of interest. So you're going to see that as the investigation continues routinely, and it's just another piece of that information until finally something breaks.
The jigsaw puzzle, not clear to us, but hopefully for the investigators. Thank you so much for all of you. The reward for any information that helps find Nancy Guthrie is now at $50,000. If you know anything, dial 1-800-CALL-FBI. You can also contact the local sheriff's department at 520-351-4900.